Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seems to be teasing a 2028 presidential run, and Republicans are predictably freaking out.
I think that you could beat J.D. Vance in a head-to-head race for president, as polling suggests, in 2028?
Listen, these polls, like 3 years out, are, they are what they are. But let the record show, I would stomp him.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Personally, I think the criminality of what we've been seeing from this administration is quite clear. To me, individually, the question is not, the hard part about impeachment is what in the litany of illegal actions have been taken do you actually draft articles on?
Do you think the president has committed impeachable offenses?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's starting from the very beginning with the seizure of funds that are mandated to go out. I think that line has been crossed, and the question is about the rest of the country.
Do you wish that the caucus would be more interested in talking about the I word and going down that path and maybe making some plans for if Democrats can take control of the House next year?
I don't think that this is personal. Two things can be true at the same time. I think that accountability needs to be a core part of our governance, and I also personally don't run as purely on an anti-Trump. I've personally never run to represent my district on grounds of impeachment or not. I run for healthcare. My community wants to hear about raising the minimum wage, expanding unions, strengthening healthcare, and I think it's important that we have an affirmative, positive vision for the country. But that doesn't mean that we shy away from what needs to be done in terms of having accountability, make sure that this abuse of power never happens again.
And the head of the socialist wing of the Democratic Party is Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. She's really calling these shots. In fact, Senator Schumer is trying to ingratiate himself to the socialist wing of his party and to the Congresswoman. And I have to tell you, I don't hate anybody. I don't mean any disrespect. But based on her policies and beliefs, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is single-handedly trying to put an end to dumb blonde jokes. I mean, based on her policies, $1.5 trillion, she must be bilingual. She's speaking English and stupid. There's no way we're going to go along with this, and that's why we're in a shutdown.
It's very clear that the future of politics in this country is left-wing economic populism versus right-wing economic populism. President Trump proved that with his win in 2024, where he didn't just defeat Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, he also defeated the other wings of his party. Zohran Mamdani has pulled off something similar here in New York City in his own way, but he's going to govern one of two ways. He's going to either be more establishment than he lets on to. You can see that with some of the appointees that he's made with former Bill de Blasio picks staffing his administration, or he's going to go extremely left. And you see that with some of his other picks.
AOC thinks that MAGA supporters are now moving toward socialism because in part of their anxiety about the economy and the fact that in some cases they are paying more for basic goods and services. Is she wrong? And if so, why?
Well, we'll have to assume that AOC either got into Pocahontas's beers and had a few too many, Laura, for this kind of hot take on things, because it's that absolutely ridiculous, or she's applying the same kind of logic that the Democrats like to apply to say that men can have babies. It's totally crazy. No one really believes that Trump voters are turning towards socialism, because Trump voters are people who, guess what, love this country. They want to see America succeed. They appreciate a hard day's work. They don't want a handout. They understand that socialism has never worked anywhere it has been tried, because it's common sense.
AOC is one of the few Democrats who've truly stepped up to the moment, and people are paying attention.
Congresswoman, can I real quick get your reaction to the shooting death in Minnesota of the woman by the ICE agent?
This is what, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. This is what we've been warning about for a very long time, and it is I'm just, it's tragic to say, but from the moment that, from the moment that this Congress decided to authorize and explode ICE's budget, they are accountable to no one. It's important that people know that ICE has less accountability than virtually any law enforcement agency in the United States. And yet they are some of the most well-funded. They are operating with impunity, and we just saw them murder an American citizen in cold blood in the street. And despite whatever lies that the president wants to say about what was happening in this, you can see what happened for yourselves. They shot a woman in the head in cold blood on the street. I hope that this incident is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and this is an agency that must be reined in.
I believe that we need to be a party of brawlers for the working class.
There you go.
And we have turned into a party that caters to almost people who call themselves upper middle class, but they're actually like kind of wealthy.
You're talking about me now, aren't you?
No, you're not middle class at all.
No, I meant wealthy. That's what I meant.
We've been chasing this affluent group and making all of these little concessions and hoping that working people don't notice.
How does that manifest? If you could give us an example of what those concessions might look like. Because in my mind, look, one of the biggest issues in my mind is over the last 40 or 50 years, labor has been devalued and capital has been elevated. So investment and finance is king and labor is in many ways devalued. So in what way have you seen those kinds of moves made?
Yeah, I think the most famous one that comes to mind is Kyrsten Sinema doing her little curtsy when she voted down the $15 minimum wage. But it wasn't just her. That was the most public expression of it. But there were a bunch of Democrats in the Senate behind her that also voted it down. People are struggling so much right now. $15 an hour is nothing. The day that the news came out that I got assigned to Energy and Commerce, my staff's email boxes blew up with lobbyists. Just tons of lobbyists just flooding our emails.
Wow.
And it is literally because of this assignment that I got.
Was it like, hey, what's up, Congresswoman?
It's
just
very
checking
like,
in.
It's very like, hello, fellow kids. Like, oh, I was at the Bernie rally, like back in the day. Like, I'd love to chat. I don't take a dime of lobbyist money because I am afforded that independence because everyday people support me. I'm under no pressure or obligation to take a single one of these meetings. Not one.
The election of New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani was a jolt for the Republican Party, who saw an extremely charismatic Democratic Socialist defeat not only their machine, but that of the DNC, which seemed determined to subject New York to another 4 years of creepy Cuomo. Louisiana Representative John Kennedy isn't right about much, but he is right that establishment Dems, like Chuck Schumer, are losing control of the party, and for extremely good reason. AOC has proved herself to be one of the few politicians willing to stick her neck out and step up at a time when writing letters and wagging fingers obviously isn't enough. Come 2028, it'll be interesting to see what shakes out. But here's hoping that whoever's on the ticket offers a bold, progressive, and hopeful vision for the future. God knows we need it.